Florida employs approximately 58,000 electricians, the third largest electrician workforce of any state in the entire country. The state adds hundreds of thousands of new residents every year, has a construction boom that shows no signs of slowing, and is expanding data center and EV infrastructure at one of the fastest rates in the U.S. If you want to become a licensed electrician in Florida, the opportunity is real. But Florida's licensing system works completely differently from Texas, California, or most other states. And if you start searching without knowing this one thing up front, you will waste weeks going in the wrong direction. Here is the thing almost everyone gets wrong about Florida. If you search Florida Journeyman Electrician License, and thousands of people do every month, you will not find what you're looking for. Because Florida does not issue a statewide Journeyman Electrician License. Florida licenses electrical contractors, not individual journeymen at the state level. The agency responsible is the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, DBPR, through the Electrical Contractors Licensing Board, called the ECLB. Some individual counties and cities issue their own local journeyman cards, but those are local credentials only. They don't transfer across county lines. If your goal is to work as an electrician in Florida independently, bid on jobs, pull permits, sign contracts with clients, you need an electrical contractor license from DBPR. That is the credential. Everything else in Florida's system flows from there. This is part of the state-by-state series. U.S. Overview, Texas, and California are already up and linked at the end. Now, Florida's actual path. Florida issues 2 tiers of electrical contractor licenses. You need to know the difference before you apply for anything. Tier 1, the Certified Electrical Contractor, the EC license. This is the credential you want if you plan to work anywhere in Florida. A certified EC license is statewide. It authorizes electrical contracting work in every county and city in Florida without additional local registration. It is the most valuable and most portable electrical credential the state issues. Tier 2, the Registered Electrical Contractor, the ER license. This is a local credential. A registered EC license restricts your work to the specific county or municipality where you passed a local competency examination. If you want to work in Miami-Dade and Broward County, you'd need separate local credentials for each. A Broward County registered license does not authorize work in Orange County. It does not authorize work in Tampa. It is strictly local. For most people, the choice is clear. Pursue the certified EC. The registered path makes sense only if you are absolutely certain you will never work outside one specific local area. And even then, the certified credential gives you more flexibility for the same amount of work to obtain it. Here are the requirements for the Certified Electrical Contractor License through DBPR. 5 things. 1. Age and education. You must be at least 18 years old and hold a high school diploma or GED. Standard across the board. 2. Experience. This is where Florida gets specific. You need 6 years of qualifying experience in electrical contracting work accumulated within the 12 years immediately preceding your application. That's a rolling 12-year window. Experience older than 12 years doesn't count. What counts as qualifying experience? Work as a journeyman electrician, foreman, supervisor, or contractor in the electrical trade. A bachelor's or associate degree in an electrical field can substitute for up to 3 years of the 6. An approved apprenticeship can also substitute for portions. But you must have documented, verifiable experience, not just classroom time. 3. Financial responsibility. Florida requires you to demonstrate financial responsibility. You need either FICO credit score of 660 or above, or completion of a 14-hour financial responsibility course approved by DBPR. You'll submit a FICO credit report with your application, not a soft pull, a full credit report. 4. Insurance. You must provide a certificate of insurance showing at minimum $300,000 of public liability coverage and $50,000 of property damage coverage, with the ECLB listed as the certificate holder. Workers' compensation coverage or a signed notice of election to be exempt is also required. 5. Criminal background check. Florida requires a Level 2 background check through FDLE and the FBI using a DBPR-approved live skin vendor. This is a fingerprint-based check, not a standard background check form. You schedule and pay for this separately through an approved live scan provider before submitting your application. Those are the 5 requirements. Now the exam, and there's a detail about Florida's exam that trips up people who are already licensed in other states. That's coming right after the cost breakdown. The Florida Certified EC exam is administered by Pearson VUE at testing centers across the state. It is a 2-part computer-based exam. Part 1, the Technical and Safety Exam. 100 questions covering the National Electrical Code and Florida-specific electrical laws. You have 5.5 hours. Part 2, the Business Practices Exam. 50 questions covering Florida contractor regulations, business law, and financial management. You have 2.5 hours. Both parts require a passing score of 75%. Both parts must be passed within 3 years of each other. If you pass one and fail to pass the second within 3 years, both parts must be retaken from scratch. Here's the good news. Both parts are open book. You may bring approved reference materials listed on DBPR's approved reference list, including your NEC codebook. The open book format rewards candidates who know their references inside out. Tabbing and indexing your codebook before exam day is essential. Knowing where things are matters, as much as knowing what they are when you're working against the clock. Now here's the detail that catches people who are already licensed in other states. Florida does not have traditional reciprocity with most states. That means your Texas Journeyman license, your California DIR certification, your New York license, none of them automatically transfer. There is a path in, but it is not the shortcut most people assume it is. That is coming in a minute after the cost breakdown. Let's put the full cost together. The DBPR application fee is $316.25. The Pearson VUE exam fee is $78.75 per part, so $157.50 for both parts combined. The LiveScan background check runs approximately $75 to $100 depending on the provider. Total out-of-pocket through the exam pathway, roughly $550 to $600. On top of that, insurance. The liability coverage certificate required for the application is an ongoing cost, not a one-time fee. Insurance premiums vary based on your business size and claims history, but budget for it as a recurring business expense. Timeline. DBPR typically processes applications within 30 to 60 days of receiving a complete application package. After approval, you schedule your Pearson VUE exams. The full timeline from application submission to sitting for both exam parts is commonly 2 to 3 months, depending on how quickly your documentation is verified. License renewal is every 2 years by August 31st of every even-numbered year. Now, the reciprocity situation. If you're already licensed in another state and planning to move to Florida or work there, here is what you need to know. Florida does not have traditional automatic reciprocity with most states. Instead, Florida offers a path called endorsement, where DBPR reviews whether your out-of-state exam is substantially equivalent to Florida's examination. If it is, you may qualify to apply for licensure by endorsement rather than sitting for the full Florida exam again. DBPR publishes an endorsement list and a substantially equivalent exams document that specify which out-of-state licenses and exams qualify. Check those documents directly at myfloridalicense.com before assuming you qualify. The list is specific and not all states are on it. There is also a 10-year endorsement option for contractors with a 10-year licensure history in another state. And the county-level journeyman card situation. Some Florida counties, including Miami-Dade, Broward, and others, issue their own local journeyman or master electrician cards. These local credentials allow you to perform electrical work in that jurisdiction under a licensed contractor. They are not DBPR credentials, and they do not transfer to other counties. If you want to work independently and statewide, you still need the certified EC through DBPR. Earnings. Florida electricians earn below the national median. BLS puts Florida's median electrician wage at around $53,000 a year. That is below Texas at $55,890 and significantly below California at $97,600. But two things push those numbers up in practice. First, Florida has no state income tax, same as Texas. Your take-home on $53,000 in Florida is meaningfully higher than the same number in California or New York. Second, the Miami, Orlando, and Tampa metros all run above the state median, especially for commercial and industrial work. Experienced journeymen working on data center and commercial projects in South Florida regularly report wages well above the state average. The strongest earning argument for Florida right now is the construction volume. The state is adding hundreds of thousands of new residents annually. Hurricane hardening and rebuilding creates sustained demand that doesn't follow normal economic cycles. And the data center expansion in Central Florida is generating significant high-wage electrician work. Quick recap. Florida does not issue a statewide journeyman license. That's the first thing to know. Florida licenses electrical contractors through DBPR, certified for statewide work, registered for local jurisdiction only. Certified EC requires 6 years of qualifying experience within the last 12 years, a FICO score of 660 or above, or a financial responsibility course, insurance documentation, and a Level 2 fingerprint background check. The exam is 2 parts through Pearson VUE, both open book, both requiring 75% to pass. Total pathway cost is roughly $550 to $600. Florida does not have automatic reciprocity. Check the DBPR endorsement list at myfloridalicense.com if you're already licensed elsewhere. Always verify current requirements and fees directly at myfloridalicense.com before you apply. Requirements, fees, and processing times can change. New York Breakdown is coming next. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop your state in the comments if you want it covered sooner.